Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
All right, along with everything else that we have to do and get ready for breakup and the isolation that Mother Nature says is going to happen. Some things just doesn't matter the timing. One of those is what, dear?
Chicken pen needs to be mucked out.
It's not frozen anymore, and
we add straw to it all, straw and sawdust all winter long, and the bottom just stays hard and cold and starting to melt, starting to smell like urine. It's a little too nasty.
All right, so yeah, that's the chore. Isn't that right, dog? Yeah, it's the chore. It sure is. And I have to say, they are producing quite nicely now, aren't they, with the added sunlight?
That one wants to sit. She's been bitching at me for days.
She's one of the old ones, right? Dog's got to protect her. Dog does not like the chickens around Paula. He is very protective. He'll do a false jump at them from time to time just to make them back up. Well, right now they're producing nicely. We're getting, I don't know, maybe up to a dozen eggs a day. So, good to go. Got 1,000 pounds of chicken feed in, got grid. Hopefully in another month or so they'll be able to start free ranging. So, and we'll start incubating more chicks. We've got some that are reaching the end of their productive life, and so we'll probably bring on another dozen or so.
Yeah, at least another 10.
So we'll probably set up for that next month. Let's see, April, yeah, maybe end of April we'll start incubating so that they'll hatch early May, early mid-May, and they'll be ready to go outside by the time the snow is off the ground. So, all right, to the nasty work.
Hey, chickens. You like the good straw? It smells so much nicer in here. Yeah, have fun rearranging that. Good night.
All right, 5th of April, and it's time to start incubating new chicks. So we've got our incubator out. This is a Magic Fly Auto Incubator. We bought this last year. It has turned out to be a very good, low maintenance incubator that we're very, very happy with. I think we bought it off of Amazon, probably. And we got out of 2 batches, we got 10 chicks last year, I think. So at any rate, the way we set it up, it'll hold 9. Ooh, that's not good. It'll hold 9 of our eggs, of our chickens' eggs, which are fairly good size. You see, one of the first things we do is we mark the date on them, 4/5, so 5th of April. I got my finger over initially. Paula was a month off. Had it marked.
Forgot what day it
5th
is.
of March.
What month it is.
Oh, we're losing not only track of days, but months now in all of this. So my first step is to put them in and set the spacers. This incubator not only keeps temperature very well, the proper temperature, but it also rolls the eggs around, which is critical to keeping them from, them sticking to one side of the shell inside. So what I'm doing now, if it's smaller eggs, you could actually put up to 4 rows of 3 per row. But our eggs tend to be too large for that, so we're only doing 9 eggs at a time. So what I'm doing now is just spacing, putting these spacers in here and giving the eggs adequate room for them to roll around. All right, that'll work fine. So this incubator is very easy to use, so we won't need these two right here. This
That's
gets
for
used
later.
Later, we don't use that now. Very easy to use. So it's got a mesh tray in it that we put in, and we put water in the bottom of that because you want to keep the eggs moist. And then, so you check that every day or two to make sure it's moist. And then it also has an automatic rolling capability. So it slowly rolls the eggs around so that the yolk inside doesn't get stuck to one side and then you don't end up with a chick. So this little gizmo right here hooks into the tray, and it will slowly rotate these eggs back and forth and just move them around. That's all it really needs. So we'll hook that up. We've got, we'll collect more. We've only got, what, 4 eggs here right now. So we'll collect 5 more today during the course of the day. It's morning, so we'll get more eggs today yet from the chickens. So we'll fill this up. We'll put some water in it. We'll put the lid on it. We'll plug it up. And I usually like to put a towel or something around it to keep the temperature more consistent because it's by our back door and all. So keep it more consistent. And then every couple of days we check to make sure that there's still water in there so it's moist. And after about a week, we candle them. Mm-hmm. And we don't have that here now. I'll show you that later. But after about a week or so, we can candle them and determine whether or not they're fertilized. And if they're growing, they're going to be viable. If they're not, then we'll take them out and get rid of them. But generally, we had 5 out of 9 would be fertilized and end up hatching in our 2 batches last fall. So we're hoping to hatch 15 or so, 15, 20 chicks over the next few weeks. And our timing right now is that it'll take 21 days for these, if they're fertilized, for them to hatch. Then we'll move them out into actually our walk-in cooler out in the barn, and we'll heat that, put a heat lamp out there, keep them confined in there for about a month, maybe 5-6 weeks. And at that point, so if we've got 3 weeks to go now, we're at the first week, so it's into May. So we're actually into the end of May, or we're into the end of May, 1st of June, by the time the chicks would go outside, which is perfect timing. So that will be the first batch that will come out. So this is why we're starting right now. 3 weeks of incubation gets us to the 1st of May, and then another month or so puts us through April, or through May. Another month or so puts, yeah, we're losing track of months here, folks. So another 4 weeks would put us through the month of May, and then they'll be ready to go outside, and the weather should be good enough. Noted though, take a look outside right now, 163 inches of snowfall, so this is really thinking ahead at this point. But by the time these eggs turn into chicks and are ready to go outside, all of that should be gone, and the white should be green.
We'll see.
Okay, so.
In theory.
And we'll film this as we go along. Okay, it's actually quite interesting. Everybody that comes and sees all of this is, everybody likes to see it. So
it's fun.
Yeah. So, so we'll put this on for now. We're not going to start it yet because we'll collect the other eggs. But the important thing is this little prong that sticks down on this rotary wheel. When you put it on, you make sure it lines up in that tray, and then you set it down, and you plug it in. You set your temperature. That's all there is to it. It is a very easy, very reliable incubator.
And inexpensive.
Inexpensive, yeah. Very inexpensive to deal with, and so we're very happy with that. Again, a Magic Fly Auto Egg Incubator. Runs off of 110 volts. And it's got auto turning. Thermostat setting is very reliable. And we have had no problem hatching chicks from our chickens, from the eggs that come from our chickens. All right, today is the 6th, a day later. And we needed one more egg. So we have it this morning. So I'm marking with a magic marker, felt tip marker, 4/6 to tell us what day it went into the incubator. So theoretically, all the rest of them went in yesterday, so this will probably be, if it's a viable egg, will be the last chick to be hatched in this batch. So we went ahead and started it yesterday. And I don't know if you can take a look here. It's been setting at 38 degrees Celsius. The only thing I can say about this incubator that I don't like is that you can't record it in Fahrenheit, but that's just a minor thing. 38 degrees Celsius is where it should be, and that's where it sets. So, you know, really, that's not much of a complaint for this incubator. So we can see here that I actually just took an old sweatshirt, set it on there and pulled it closed, and used a couple of clothespins to hold it closed to make sure the heat stays in. We're close to a window here, and this window gets opened from time to time, so just to make sure the temperature doesn't fluctuate, we put that sweatshirt over it to keep the temperature constant, and it seems to do fine. So I'm going to put the last egg in, so I'm just simply going to unplug it. There's no on and off switch for this incubator. So we'll pull the top off, set it aside, and you can see in here that there are now 9 eggs. And I don't know if you see it or not, but this simply rolls around and keeps the eggs rolling. And that's where you want to set the dividers to make sure that happens. And we have some fairly large eggs. Our chickens are heavy breed, and they lay some large eggs. So there, I just rotated that around. I put a smaller egg in place of a larger one so that they roll around easier and don't lock up and then not get turned. So that's simply it. So we put some water in the bottom of the tray. You don't want any water touching the eggs, but you want humidity in the chamber the entire time. You have to keep them humid. You don't want the eggs to dry out. So I'm going to put the top back on it. Again, there's the little rotary thing. So I'm going to make sure that prong gets into this slot on the egg rotation tray.
Yep.
So I simply look here, get it in there, make sure that it sets down on the top sets on the lower half. It's got a lip that overlaps in there, so you make sure that's down like that. And then our little modification is the sweatshirt that we add and we close up. We keep the electrical plug and the readout, the digital readout, we keep it within view so we don't cover that up. So we can just periodically look at it and make sure everything is okay. That's it. So all we got to do now is every day or 2 days, we'll check and make sure that there's enough water in there to keep the humidity. And there's really nothing to do now for at least a week. We'll wait a week and then we will show you how to candle the eggs to see if there's actually a chick starting to form. If not, then we will take those eggs out. There's no reason to leave them in. And then 21 days we should have some baby chicks.